seems to me we could be facing catastrophic freeze damage to a wide variety of plants in Memphis. If all of these brown shrubs and trees are dead, it will take years to recover. Even if not completely dead, it seems like we may have to prune dead stems and branches back to the ground. What should homeowners do to help these plants recover? This is Tim from right here in Memphis, Tennessee, and we've gotten several questions like this after the hard freeze here just before Christmas. So Celeste, we're going to start with you because I'm sure this is a question that you've gotten a lot here lately. So what do you think about this catastrophic freeze that we had? And
definitely. We have certainly seen lots of damage to lots of plants that would normally survive our winters, with no damage at all. So that's definitely a concern. And I just want to, urge people to be patient. Go out and start familiarizing yourself with your plants. So what we've been seeing a lot in Jackson was that in some cases the damage really is only leaf deep, we will say, right? So different parts of the plant are less cold tolerant than other parts. So we'd start with buds, obviously would be the most susceptible, then leaves, then stems, then roots, right? So even if we do have some dieback on those above ground portions of the plant, it's very likely that we still have lots of life in the stems and even the roots of those plants. So we've been seeing, for example, camellias, prized camellias, right? Their leaves turn brown super quickly. They are starting to shed those leaves right now. And if you are curious if you've lost that plant to the roots or farther, let's go out there and just do a small little scratch on the stems. And if you scratch towards the end of the stem and you see some green in that growth layer, just shallow, then you've still got some life in that plant. If it's brown, that's not a good sign. You can move farther down the stem, right? The farther down we go, the hardier those parts of the plants are going to be. So you could continue to do that scratch test until you get to a place on that plant where you're seeing some green, right? And that's going to kind of give you an indication of, okay, maybe we had a foot of dieback, right, on the stems, or maybe it's more. And I don't want people to use that as a tool to help them start pruning. We don't want anyone to do anything, right? We just need to wait. Patience. Let's wait until we get into the warmer parts of the year, into those growing seasons, see if buds are pushing out of that wood, new buds to replace those leaves. And then that is going to be a very obvious visual sign to help people use that as a guide for pruning, right? The scratch test is just to help satisfy you right now because you're super worried.
Make you feel like you can do something right now.
That's what you can do, right? Write it down, make a journal, right? People are gonna be able to learn from this in the future. And Natalie and some other colleagues of ours across the state have put together a really good publication. Do you want to tell them about that?
Tell us about the publication.
Yeah, so we made kind of a guide that just talks you through what to do right now, which is not much, and what not to do. Don't go fertilize and hope that it turns green. You know, don't over water, but don't let things dry out. And I also think that, and this is probably something that we'll want to follow up on as we move through this season, because I think that we want to make sure that we communicate by April, by May, you're going to know more. But don't just turn it off and forget about it, because there are going to be, for the plants that survive, there are going to be steps that we want to take through this season to reduce stress, to make pruning decisions and going to put those plants in a better stead, because just because they survived doesn't mean that they are just going to be fine.
Thriving.
So we want to make sure, and of course we may already have a couple layers. It was a dry winter, then we had a hard freeze, so we want to think about ways that in this coming year or two we can make the best decisions for long-term plant health.
Good deal. Patience. Patience is going to be key, right? No pruning, no fertilizing. And something else that I've been telling homeowners, we are still in winter. We are still in winter.
That's why we don't want you to prune now. We could have another cold snap. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen.
Another one.
It's Tennessee. You don't know what's going to happen here. So let's hold the reins.
Thanks for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed. To subscribe, click below.